Hey friends, I hope that this video finds you well. If we haven't met before, my name is Tyler and I'm on staff here at North Decatur. And today we're continuing walking through the 8th chapter of the book of Acts. And today we find ourselves focusing in on those verses between verse 4 and verse 13. Patrick and Edry set us up really well for some of the stuff that we're encountering in today's scripture. But just to recount some of the pieces that are present in these verses. We have Philip, the church is being scattered. Philip is sharing the message of Christ and of the good news that Christ is present in all spaces. And he's bringing that message out into Samaria. And in Samaria, he encounters a bunch of Samaritans who welcome this message warmly. And we find that one of the people who embrace that message is someone by the name of Simon. Simon is an interesting character. We don't quite know much other than that he's a magician or a sorcerer, that he has titles around him of respect from the community, from really everyone in the community. We know that he had the undivided attention of all people, and that people turned to him with respect because they thought God was present with him for some reason through the Acts. But also, one of the things that brought them towards Simon is that what he did baffled them, is what Scripture said. They didn't understand it. There was secrets. There was a distance between what he was doing and accessibility for the rest of folks. But when Simon hears this word coming from Philip into the community, sees the response of the community, Simon also joins into this thing that's happening and becomes, we're told, an assistant of Philip. He has a conversion experience and warmly embraces this and actually helps to participate in the movement. Tomorrow we'll find out how he has some difficulties with that. But for today, just focusing on these pieces of scripture, it brings up a question for ourselves of, in what ways do we act like Simon before Philip enters the scene? And in what ways are we being invited to share a similar conversion experience as Simon? And what I mean by that is divinity. I hope you all recognize that God is present in you, that Christ is present in you. But sometimes we can recognize our own self-worth, but not think that other people share in that self-worth. To not think that other people share in the sacredness that we ourselves know through our own windows of being ourselves that we have. It's really easy to be a Simon before Philip enters the scene, to take our own egos and to build up wealth and fame and status, and to not really be concerned with bringing in the community in on this, but to continue to baffle people, to create distance from people for the sake of increasing those things I talked about: power, wealth, status, fame. And the beauty of this moment, this conversion experience for Simon, is that he sees through the words of Philip, through the spirit that is present in this message being shared in this region of Samaria, that divinity is not present just in himself, but it's present in other people. That Christ is present in this movement that is breaking out in their midst. It's being explained. It's being shared and dialogued with. And there's this transition where it's becoming made clear that God is present in the space in between us. So how we care for one another, how we build up one another becomes really important. And Simon has this conversion experience where he goes from one way of being into this communal life together. I hope that makes sense. I think our question for today is then, in which way do we hoard up that just posture? In which ways do we participate in that posture of just keeping it all for ourselves? To not looking towards other people and their sacredness? And in what ways are we invited to participate in the relational, beautiful work that's unfolding in our midst? In what ways are we, even today and tomorrow and the day after that, being invited to have a converting experience from ourselves to something so much more powerful and of depth and of hope in the world. I hope that you're well. I miss all of you. I really am thankful for the opportunities to chat with so many of you through book discussions and prayer groups and emails and phone calls. If there's any way that the church can support you, please don't hesitate to let us know, because we are around. Take care.